Hey, it's Justin from Flipwise. I'm going to walk you through the unlisted inventory feature. Now, what this feature is historically the only way you could get inventory into Flipwise is to list it on eBay, and then Flipwise would ingest it and you could add your acquisition data, like where you bought something from and for how much. But that's not good for a lot of reasons. The biggest reason is that you often buy stuff and wait some time until you list it, and you might forget how much you paid for it. If you have no other mechanism to record that acquisition data, it can just be challenging. And so the unlisted inventory feature allows you to record your inventory right after you buy it. You can record, where you bought it from and for how much, even if it takes you 6 months to list it, and you won't forget how much you paid for it and where you bought it from. And so that's the primary use of the unlisted inventory feature, just to help you manage your death pile and keep track of all of your unlisted inventory. You'll notice under inventory in the main navigation, unlisted, we'll go ahead and click that. That lands on the unlisted inventory index and lists off all your unlisted inventory. In this case, I have a bunch of test data in here. To add a new one, you're going to click the green button in the top right-hand corner. It's going to ask for a purchase date. It'll default to today, but you can change it if you need to, just like that. You'll ask for a purchase location, so where you bought it from. I'll go ahead and enter in Savers, a purchase price. It'll also ask for the storage location. Now, I have already defined a default storage location to be used for my unlisted inventory. I'll show you how to do that in a second. You don't have to do that, but I'll show you how to do that in a second. And then you'll enter in the product name. We'll just say I'm listing a Yeti mug and it's green. And a quantity. There's only one of them. Now I could hit save and that would go ahead and add it to the inventory. But I'm going to go ahead and check this box first, save and add another. That is going to, when I hit save, it's going to save this Yeti mug green, but keep this window popped up so I can quickly add another one. There's a second checkbox here called copy acquisition data to next product. That's going to save the purchase date, purchase location, price, and storage location and clear out the product name and make it super easy to enter in a bunch of items at one time if you bought it all from the same place on the same date. And so we'll go ahead and do that just to show you how it works. You'll notice I just added it. You can see in the background, it has added it there, and it's giving me confirmation up at the top that it's been added to my unlisted inventory. Now, let's say I had another Yeti mug, but it was only $6. This is a blue one, and I don't have any more to add, so we'll just hit save there. And now I've got two new Yeti mugs in my unlisted inventory. And now you need to connect this unlisted inventory to a listing. And so let's say a couple months later, you go ahead and list something and you already have it in your unlisted inventory. There's a couple ways that you can do that. And so we'll use an example here. I have these Costa Salt Break sunglasses in my unlisted shelf for $1 from Savers. I'm going to hit the connect button there, and it's going to give me the option to select from a listing, and I can just go and scroll through until I find the right one, or I can search for it. There it is. So I have a listing already for Costa Salt Break. I'm going to go ahead and select that. I can update the storage location as a part of this process. And so if something's on your unlisted shelf and you go and list it, it's likely that you're going to be taking it to a new storage location. So we'll go ahead and do that. Let's say its final resting place is in A1A, and I'll make the connection. And now you'll see here, Costa Salt Break, that's the unlisted inventory, has been connected to the listing. And if you go here, you'll see that all that information that I had previously entered on it is transferred over there, so I don't have to re-enter it. There's a couple ways that you can make the connection between a listing and an unlisted item in your inventory. So for example, you'll see these buttons along here. That just is telling you that these have not been connected to any listing or to any unlisted item in your inventory. If I click it, I can do it in the reverse. I can connect this listing to an unlisted item in my inventory. There, right there. Oakley Clifton sunglasses. Perfect. We'll go ahead and, let's say that I move that one to A1A as well. Make the connection. And then you'll notice all of that acquisition data has popped in there automatically. So pretty easy to make a connection between an unlisted item in your inventory and the listing. Now, an unlisted item in your inventory is treated like any other item in your inventory. You'll see I just clicked into this Yeti mug blue that I added previously from Savers, $6 in my unlisted shelf. I could change this data if I needed to. The only item on the timeline here is the purchased event telling me when and where I bought it. But you'll notice you have, just like any other item in your inventory, the ability to add an expense or a credit from the ledger. You can mark it as sold if it sold on some other marketplace. You could mark it as donated or discarded, which is handy if you add something to your unlisted inventory, but later realize it's not worth listing and you're getting rid of it, donating it, or discarding it. You can mark that directly from here, or you could delete it if you no longer have it in your inventory at all. You can also connect it to the listing from this screen as well. Let's go back to the unlisted inventory index. There's also a delete button here. You can click that if you want to delete it from that side. Let's talk about these storage locations. So if you go down here under manage, you'll notice storage locations. This lists all of my different storage locations. Let's click into shoebox 1. You'll see here set as default for unlisted. So if I set that as default for unlisted and then I go back into unlisted and hit new, you'll see that default storage location is now shoebox 1. So that makes it just easy to not have to re-enter the same storage location for every unlisted item in your inventory. You can search through your unlisted inventory. So if I wanted to see nothing but the Yeti mugs, you can filter just like any other index screen. So if I wanted to filter it by purchase date, I could do that. And I could also export this data to a CSV and have it emailed to me. And that's about it. That's how you use the unlisted inventory feature in Flipwise.